Hey everybody. God, you don't really realize how much of a mounted camera your laptop has until you see it blown up a little. It's not terrible, but it's not great either. Anyways, hi guys. How's it going? I'm not gonna be too long-winded or do anything super big on this one. This one is really just meant to be a something I can throw up on YouTube to kind of bring everybody up to speed. In case you don't follow me on social media, which I really haven't been using and I probably should be using more of. In case you don't follow me on social media, in case you don't, you're not a member of my Discord, which I strongly suggest that you do. If you get a moment, put the link in the chat. Either way, so a few things of note. First and foremost, we're going to be looking at, actually, let me turn this down here a little. So first and foremost, I'm going to be attempting something resembling a streaming schedule. I'm finding that when I do actually have people who are joining in and participating, I find it really enjoyable. And this might be one of the new things that I do. And I've been doing it a lot more because of this whole thing with UPS in my work. So I am going to give it a shot. I haven't really given streaming a serious go in quite some time. So, actually, so I've been trying to get on top of it. If I could pull up I'm sorry, I just got a text message from my team lead at work. So I'm just pulling it up on my Discord now. So as it stands right now, we are looking for a pretty rudimentary schedule right now. Looking for a few things. So we're going to be doing streams for Final Fantasy 14 content. We're going to be doing a retro night and a theme night, and then kind of a chill, just chat kind of night as well. Pardon me. The Final Fantasy 14 stuff will be coming on Mondays. That's usually my attempt at trying to bring stuff to YouTube. The biggest thing that I'm trying to aim towards is content segments. So I want to create something that's that I like to fondly call Duty Finder Fails, which is basically where I go in and I start doing duty roulettes and showing you guys the best and the worst of what happens, basically. Kind of like a blooper reel of sorts, because there are a fair amount, and it really depends on what actually happens in the stream. But I want to try and make highlights of that for both Twitch and for YouTube. There is another one where basically what not to do as a blank. So I would do almost like a segment of what to do and what not to do in certain roles. Not with specific classes, because honestly there's certain classes I don't like and I don't want to spend time making videos for, when in all honesty there's enough similarity between some jobs that I could just do a roles section for that and it would still pretty much apply across the board. That also means I might have to take up healing, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. But one way or the other, we'll figure something out. But that is my intention for that. And then I would like to start doing tutorials as well. So my first planned one is to do a basically how to get into Final Fantasy 14 and how to start moving through content. As I feel that some people may feel overwhelmed by a game like Final Fantasy 14, but wants to jump in because A, they love Final Fantasy, B, they love MMOs, C, they want to get away from stuff like World of Warcraft, D, they may just like the frame of Final Fantasy 14 as a game, or they've been encouraged by other people, or they've seen memes and want to see what it's about, so on and so forth. I want to give people kind of a jumping off point, and I feel like there's not enough video content out there that helps people start from kind of a layman's perspective, so to speak. So I think it's really important to have something that doesn't treat people like newbies, but doesn't pander to people as though they're dumber than they really are. I want to treat you guys with respect, and I want to treat you guys like you guys want to be good at the game. And so I want to give you guys the ability to do just that. I feel that 1 to 30 is a very important set of levels in a game like Final Fantasy XIV, and I want to be able to create something that will help you with that. So that is one of the first bits of content that I want to create. That is probably the first and foremost planned bit of content. So coming up next Monday, I'll be trying to create that for you guys. Wednesdays will be the retro gaming night, which is really just a like me just fucking around with retro games. Like I've said in my Discord, I'll probably be focusing on Super Nintendo and Game Boy Advance stuff, mostly because that's like my favorite generations of games, honestly. And I think mostly Game Boy Advance because there's a lot of remakes of good Super Nintendo games on the Game Boy Advance. It's not necessarily that the Super Nintendo was what I grew up with, even though it kind of was. It's just, to me, it's one of the best home consoles that have ever been released on this side of the sea. So a lot of my favorite games are on it. And there's also such a large library that you can pick and choose and try something new all the time. And not all of it's going to be good, but that's going to be part of the fun, I think, anyways. That's something I'll always be taking suggestions on. If somebody wants to go into the chat and, say, hey, can you try this game? Do you have this game? And I'll be like, yeah, sure, let me throw it on. Provided I'm not in the middle of something. So that'll be Wednesdays. Then Fridays is looking like theme night. And what I mean by theme night is that over the course of a certain period of time, starting with when I feel like it and ending with when I feel like it, we'll be having a theme, which is basically we attack games related to a certain theme or franchise for whatever purpose I feel like at the end of the day. Themes are something that I may take suggestions on, but as it stands right now, that probably won't be for a while. Right now, the theme that has been discussed, at least by myself, and hasn't really been attacked yet, is Final Fantasy VII. And that is directly related to a music album that I'm working on called Loveless. And the idea there is that I start from the original Final Fantasy VII, and I work my way through the franchise. So when I say the franchise, I mean compilation of Final Fantasy VII. Whether that means I'm going to do like complete run-throughs of the game, or the games rather, is yet to be seen, because there's a couple of them that I'm not sure I could stream here on PC. We will see. The logistics of a couple of them would be less than, how to put this. The logistics are rough. Let's just put it that way. And I would like, ideally, to do some of the extra content as well. However, I don't think Square Enix or Sony would be too keen on me streaming some of their movies, so chances are that won't be happening either. So we'll see what this means. It really just probably means me playing through a bunch of Final Fantasy VII stuff and talking about Final Fantasy VII on stream, and everybody just kind of sharing their memories and discussing what they're seeing, I guess. But it will start with OG Final Fantasy VII. Probably the international version. Really depends on what I have on hand. But we'll see. We'll see. Oh, there's my chocobo just went. And then for the chill just chat nights, we're looking at that being Sundays. I don't know if I mentioned the theme nights are going to be Fridays, but Sundays we're just going to have a chill, just kind of end of the week, taking in everything that we've done over the course of the week, talk about the week to come, just trying to get people to get to know me as a person, which is something that I don't do regularly. I go through spurts where it's like, oh my god, life is hectic, here's my blog, here's a bunch of non-gaming related stuff. So I feel that if I give myself a regular platform for this stuff, it'll kind of take that away from my blog, and then that way, if people want to just go to my blog for stuff and not be inundated with personal stuff there, they can do so. So there's that. So that's what we're looking at for, as far as what we're looking at for streaming schedule. Now, other content that I have coming down the pipeline, like I mentioned before, I am working on a music album called Loveless, and what that's supposed to be, ideally, is basically a greatest hits picks of my favorite tunes and some stuff that I find musically interesting and intriguing through the course of the compilation of Final Fantasy VII, remastered, rearranged, and produced by yours truly. I would like to my whole mission with this album is to just get it up on streaming platforms. I'm not ideally making a ton of coin from this. I would like to do a digital sales for this, if only because I want future music work to be better than it is currently. Just to let you guys know, I don't know if I do plan on ever doing vocals for this, but I might. We'll see. It really depends on how this guy holds up to it. We'll see. I don't know. But I do have that. I don't know where the keyword actually is, but I have the box sitting here for some reason. This is what I'll be using to actually put everything together. I believe the keyboard's sitting down there somewhere. Any of you who are familiar with this know that it's pretty damn great. I've used this in the past. I have not used it for any of my work recently, but I do plan on getting back on the keys at some point if time permits. We shall see. But that is the ideal. So got Loveless coming out. At some point I will start working on that in the near future. I'm also hoping to get some stuff on my blog sometime soon. That's something I've just been on hiatus from. Mostly because, I mean, life's been busy, man. I don't know how else to put it. When it's not busy, it's stressful. And when it's not stressful, it's something else, man. It's been a lot lately. I'm not going to candy coat it, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any less something anytime soon. So I'm going to do my best there. I'm always going to have something to write about. Always, always, always. There's always something going on in here. And it's just a matter of sitting down and putting it out, and then not obsessing over it, not being the perfectionist that I am, and just pushing the content out. I am a terrible perfectionist, and I don't know. I just I pour over things way too many times, and something that should take me an hour to write would take me something in the neighborhood of like 3 hours, 4 hours, if not more. So that's a goal as well. And then long term, I have another music album idea coming down the pipeline. The operative title right now is considered The End of Time, and what the idea there is supposed to be some kind of greatest hits for the Chrono Cross and Chrono Trigger games, to kind of commemorate the re-release of Chrono Cross that's coming out for home consoles. And it's another, I want to call it a mini franchise, because it's really only had the 2 games in it, if you don't count all the remakes and spin-offs and stuff like that. It's just very near and dear to my heart. It was I don't know how else to explain it. It's something, actually, it was one of the first game soundtracks that I ever purchased legitimately. Like, I didn't burn it or bootleg it, or because you could, at the time when Chrono Trigger's soundtrack came out, you couldn't just go to like an HMV or a just like a local music store or something like that and pick up a game soundtrack, because North American labels weren't picking them up or localizing them. So your option was either bootlegs, if you can find them, like not online. And back in those days, online retail wasn't nearly as prevalent as it is now. I had to go through a mess of shit to import that soundtrack. Like a mess of shit to import it. And I listened to that bad boy front to back. It was 3 CDs. A lot. Actually, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 3 CDs. I had a really nice stereo that had a CD changer in it, and I would literally fall asleep with the first disc in, or whatever whatever CD I wanted to start on. It just played the whole soundtrack at random through the night. I have that soundtrack memorized. So once I get Final Fantasy VII out of the way, I go straight into that. With any luck, if I have my Music Mojo still going, I'm definitely going to put it towards that once the one project is finished. But yeah, then there's, so out of Loveless, then I go into The End of Time. After that's done, I'm not even terribly sure. At that point, I think I would just like to keep writing, keep streaming. The whole idea with this kind of stuff is to try and engage with you guys. That was the whole reason I even got into blogging in the first place, or getting into gaming social media or something along those lines. Um, I want to share with you guys. I want to share with people. I want to engage with the people out there. I don't care about popularity. I don't care about being, well, I don't want to say liked, because that's kind of weird, because everybody likes being liked, right? But I want to be, I don't care to be the next like Peanut Butter Gamer or fucking Markiplier or any of that bullshit. I actually have zero desire to be anything close to that, but I meant in terms of the exposure and the production level or any of that nonsense. I have no interest in having the release schedule of the production level of, say, a like a Jacksepticeye or something like that, where the only thing he ever does, because it's his job, is making videos of playing video games. I have no desire for that. My desire is to just enjoy playing video games and share that stuff with you guys, and try to be the cat. I understand you love me, but you got to find a spot and stay there. Thank you. I want to be as unbiased and straightforward as possible. That's always been my desire as far as all of this is concerned. When I started out in games publishing and in games reviews, or tech review in general, that was my whole intent. Was I found that there was too much in that arena where people were letting their bias determine whether they liked something or didn't like something, and then that review of that said thing painted somebody else's bias, and so on and so forth, until an echo chamber was created, to the point where anytime anybody releases a review about some high profile thing or something like that, they've got to change things up or come up with an editor's note or something along those lines, because people don't like the review that was given. Or worse yet, a publication anticipates that kind of backlash and creates a pandering review. Or worse than that, they are full of the kind of people that would have that response and are pandering to their own, like, internal culture. And I'm sure some of you that already kind of know what I'm talking about there. And I have no desire to be anything like that, and I want to get away from that. I want to be I've always wanted to be the kind of guy who has basically told you, hey, look, this game is, like, for example, this game is not my cup of tea, but it's still really well made. It still presents this, that, the other elements that other people I know would like it. And here's the type of people that I think would like it. And here's the reasons why you should give it a chance, or something along those lines. And not, like, be one of those people that says, this game has this element that I don't like, so therefore it's absolute trash, or something along those lines. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's been my thing right from when I started, when I picked up, pardon me, the Layman's Gamer moniker, and that embodied everything I was trying to be about. To be just your everyman, to just be the guy. While I know a great deal about this industry from having worked in it, from being an enthusiast, and from being a lobbyist, and from actually being involved in some productions, I just, like, I know I'm saying all that, and it's not quite an everyman perspective, but I still remember what it's like being just a gamer. You know, I know what it's like in all the positions I've ever been in down the road. And I feel like that's very important to respect. We're all just people, right? We're not just men, women, girls, boys, and everything else in between. In terms of like, you know, different kinds of people and, you know, different spectrums of being, so to speak. That was a really good way to put that. Spectrums of being. I may need to coin that in the future. But at the end of the day, like, I want to be respectful to all of that. And not just say, you know, show a particular agenda or bias in anything I'm saying. All of the things that I'm doing in sharing this, I want to be respectful to that. And I want to be inclusive to all of that. And I want to be able to share, you know, not just my opinions and my feelings, but also my joy for the games that I enjoy and for the games that everybody enjoys. You can come at me and you say, hey, look, I enjoy this and I feel differently than you do about something. I'm going to be like, yeah, okay. I mean, not too many people do that these days, but, you know, I'm willing to discuss. I'm willing to share. That's super important. I don't feel that there's a lot of that in any sort of big anything these days. I feel like the bigger you get, the less that happens. And that's why, exactly, I guess, long story short, I guess, of why I have zero interest in being anything like that. I don't want a huge production crew. I don't want the sets and the skits. Dear God, if I start doing skits, somebody put me out to pasture. I do not want to use the words that I would want to say in regards to that, but just like the day I start doing skits, that's it. I've finally jumped the shark, and I need to go. Like, because nearly every YouTuber I've ever followed, at some point is fallen into skits, and I don't like that at all. There was a guy who I followed. I'm not gonna point names, but some of you might know what I'm talking about. But there was this guy who used to his whole thing was trying to be a AVGN ripoff, essentially. And at the time, AVGN was coming out of his character a little bit. He'd been around for long enough that everybody was catching on that the guy wasn't that angry all the time, that it was just a character. That he was yelling and screaming for the camera, and that was it. And this guy was trying to kind of pick up from where that left off, I guess. I don't know, try to fill a gap or something. And anyways, it turned out that he had his bits, but they were bits. They weren't like actually full acts or anything like that. But his whole thing was that he reviewed retro games. And games that a lot of people hadn't really heard of. It wasn't like completely obscure or anything like that, but his whole shtick was that he reviewed retro games. And I like that because, I mean, I like being shown stuff that I could try and be like, well, okay, this looks like I might enjoy it. Let's get this guy's take on it. And this guy's take was usually, like, I'm not going to say spot on the money, but at least it was interesting enough that if he said something that kind of resonated with me, I would check a game out based on that. And then those bits turned into a well-orchestrated theme song. That well-orchestrated theme song turned into a character. Those characters turned into skits. and full, like, there was a point, and I kid you not, this guy went from reviewing retro games to having a 3 episode arc of skits that had nothing, and I kid you not, nothing to do with video games outside of reference. Like, vague reference at that. And I think it was at that point where I was just like, yeah, you know what? No, if I ever become this, yeah, see, I almost said it. Put me out to pasture. Just take me out of this. Because I very clearly don't care anymore. I'd love to make money doing this. I'd absolutely love to have this be how I make a living. But given the frame that I want to be doing this in is not very marketable, let's say. Telling people the straight truth, or telling people, you know, hey, this is how you do this, or this is how you do this, and hi, I'm trying to be friendly to everybody, but also I'll tell you how it is, and so on and so forth. Like, that doesn't very frequently get anywhere. If you're not yelling at the camera, or you're not, like, you're not making meme jokes or anything like that, or you're not being controversial or going half off your gourd about something. Like, it's not how it's done anymore. I don't think it ever really was, honestly. It's my take is I always felt is fairly unique, and yeah, so we shall see. But yeah, so to recap, streaming schedule is this: Monday, Final Fantasy 14 stuff; Wednesday, Retro Nights; Friday is gonna be theme nights, which right now theme is compilation of Final Fantasy 7, and then Sundays will be just chilling out. And any of those are due to change. I mean, I have a life, like I've said, and some nights I will adjust times, some nights I just won't simply stream. If you follow my Discord, it's the best way to know whether or not I will adjust anything. Outside of that, I will try to get on blog writing more often. I have a music album called Loveless coming up, and then after that, another album called The End of Time coming up. I think that pretty much summarizes everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it. For anyone who's been actually following streams for a little bit, we do have an update on the saga of my work finally getting their act together. They did actually show up today. Unfortunately, the import fees for the package were still not paid, so I actually couldn't accept it unless they were paid. And considering how much I've already paid to try and fix the issue, even though I knew that it really likely wasn't going to fix it, that issue specifically, and considering how much money I've already lost on this whole saga, yeah, it was a good time. So like, having somebody go be like, oh, you've got to pay more money to get through this, like, no, it's not happening. So yeah, we are waiting right now to see whether or not this is actually, you know what, while I have it on my mind, let's double check, shall we? It's the best way to find out. Okay, yeah, nope. But yeah, so That's the thing. Give me 2 seconds. Oh, there we go. All right. Why, like, all this time, and Wednesday, that's tomorrow by 1:30. All right. Just gonna text my team lead. Just give me a moment. Alright, so, yeah, my work, even though they had like a week and change to get this done, they did pay the import fees, so now I'm expecting what I need tomorrow by 1:30, my local time, I'm presuming. I could start working again, possibly tomorrow, after damn near 3 weeks of being in downtime, and roughly half of that was because of a direct screw up. Yep. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, kind of excited to get back at it, but at the same time, also, I've been working for a while. And also, how's this computer gonna work? And also, oh god, I'm gonna be going back to work after so long. Oh, there's a lot going on, as you might understand. But hopefully, this goes off without a hitch. Try it tomorrow, we'll see how it works. But yeah, so let's actually double check something real quick here. Just want to make sure I don't time out in game here. But yeah, so, and I guess for those of you who haven't been following and are a little bit confused by this, which is probably like 95% of the people who will be viewing this either on YouTube or Twitch, I work from home in some, let's say, technical support slash call center type work. Work for a large global technology company. That's really all you need to know, because I don't know what my NDA covers. But basically, I started having technical issues, let's say about a month and a half out. Probably longer at this point. I would say roughly about a month and a half and change to like a month and 3 weeks. Anyways, bottom line is it was a while back. I started having technical issues relating to call quality in regards to use of software, to notate calls, so on and so forth, and some other related things, let's say. It started with trying to address it the normal ways, through the normal channels. Then I get speaking to my IT. After a while, my IT started getting, I guess, getting frustrated with me. I don't know. Or just getting frustrated in general. And they started blaming some of my issues on my home network, on my my ISP, things like that. And it got to a point where I was like, well, okay, you know what? I know that my ISP is not responsible for most of this, but I'm going to roll with you on this, and let's change some things up. I over the course of those issues, I had spoken with my ISP roughly about like 3 or 4 times, in which case my ISP came through big through this. They agreed with me that it's not their issue, but they came out, well, they didn't come out like physically, but they did come out in terms of like checking into stuff for me, that they didn't have to, in terms of physical lines, in terms of drops coming around here, things like that. Well, I mean, not drops in the typical sense because it's cable internet, but you know, but they can check at certain points. And that's what I had them do because I guess they were bored or something. I don't know. The company I'm with is pretty good. But either way, they checked into things. Line quality was fine. My equipment was fine, even though it was borderline not okay for a bit. We did a reset on it, and turns out the unit was all right. It was just the fact that my IT had me reset it a number of times, and that just kind of borked it a little bit. But this continued on for a bit to the point where both my team lead, my IT, and everything is basically saying, look, there are these three issues that are these three possibilities that may be controlling this. And if it's not your ISP and it's not your home network, then they're out of our control and we can't do nothing about it. Well, I got to a point where, and I tried to roll with it, even though throughout this I was not the only one having these issues. There were several people, to the point where the client we worked for started noticing a drop in a certain performance metric and was related to one of the issues that I was having. And yeah, let's just leave that there. But yeah, so even our client was noticing that there was problems, and I'm just sitting here going, well, okay, so I just gotta kind of try and navigate my way around this, even though in doing so it's very clear that other performance metrics are going to be affected. And the general message or sent around was just basically, yeah, like you have to adjust, you have to try and accommodate for this kind of stuff happens. And I'm like, yeah, this kind of stuff happens when it's like not happening all at once. There should be some understanding that this kind of stuff happens on both sides of it. You can't just say, well, we're the only ones up on the front line who should have to accommodate this. That there should be some kind of, well, okay, we understand that this performance metric can be affected by this problem. So after fighting it for a bit, I just, okay, whatever. I will, if it gets too bad, I will let you guys know, but I will try and do the day-to-day thing. And then the week before this whole debacle went down, that's when I started having some serious problems. I started having almost daily meltdowns and panic attacks and stuff like that, or at least that's how it was described to me. And of differing severities. And that's when I kind of reached my last straw, and I'm like, look, something's got to be done about this. I'm not simply settling for this person has to do the right thing. These people have to get their act together. This has to, like, in order for everything to work, as opposed to coming through with workarounds, why don't we just solve the problem? Why don't we just look at the problem that I'm facing in the way that you should actually, as opposed to just through a checklist that anybody could get through. Not people who have any sort of technical aptitude. Anybody can get through a checklist, so long as they know how to read and they know how to apply it, which honestly, through the right training, anybody can do. So yeah, I started not accepting things, which is my problem, I guess. But I'd reached a point of contention. I guess my computer had it with with me as well when the internet connection on it just borked itself, basically. Uh, upon reflection, I know exactly what's going to happen, but at the risk of the message being kind of misconstrued, and if this ever reaches anybody who I work with, I'm gonna not say what the issue is, but um, I know exactly what it was. It was a hardware issue. After looking at it when I was packing it up, I saw the moment I knew. The moment I looked at it, I knew exactly what was going on, and it explained all of any of the connectivity issues I had. So basically, anything relating to call quality, and perhaps anything relating to software. It's possible, but not likely. Software stuff will probably still be waiting for me when I come back. But anything relating to call quality, likely was a result of this issue. It was a hardware issue, so it's not like, oh, hey, let's reset the computer. It was something that would slowly degrade over time. It was very clear that that was the problem here. All this time. So, anyways, as a result of this and through actual, real troubleshooting, I had I had to send the computer back for either repair or replacement. But through this, I was not going to be paid. I did not know this until it came to be that it was done. That we were going to talk about it. MITL was very matter-of-factly about it, not very compassionate. And I guess I can kind of understand it because it was in documentation that I signed when I first started working there. I did not understand the context of how it was worded, how it was presented to me, but whatever. I get it. It's how it works sometimes. So through this, I'm like, oh, okay. It's not only did I lose time on issues that you misdiagnosed because you blamed it on ISP stuff or home network stuff that I tried to fix by paying out of pocket to replace equipment. Now I've got to miss time because of a hardware issue that I had nothing to do with. Okay? Alright. After a certain point, I just washed my hands clean of the situation and hoped that it fixed as quickly as possible. They printed a label so the UPS could give it to me. I fixed it to the box that I packed my computer in so it could be sent off. I had to arrange for the pickup. It wasn't automatically done. I had to call UPS the day of that was expected because it wasn't automatically arranged for whatever reason. And if that was not an indicative marker for how the rest of this process was going to go, I don't know what is. After that, it was just a waiting game. And then they received it. Didn't hear nothing for a little bit. Then my TL came back, said, oh, well, we're going to they replicated the issue, which tells me nothing other than they tested it. It provided the same results. I mean, duh, it was a hardware issue. Of course it's going to replicate the same results. But anyways, they were going to send out a replacement because a repair was not going to be timely. I know exactly why, but again, not going to talk about that. They send the other unit out, and that took a while, a long while. Because around all of this, I should note, right over there in that North American border crossing called the Ambassador Bridge, where basically everything comes through. That Freedom Convoy was coming through and blocking shit up. And guess how UPS responded? Not by waiting or trying to get stuff through. No. They're airlifting shit. Or not airlifting. Shipping by air over that way to a place called Mount Hope, which is close to Hamilton, I think it said. They have a specific airport for this shit. First I heard about this, or at least in a while. I mean, I don't ship with UPS usually. Is that music up already? No. Just spent a lot of time being silent. Let's just change this, shall we? Actual music. God forbid. So this computer ships over there because going across to the bridge doesn't really work out. So now I gotta wait an extra little while because of those fucking tards over there. And I mean, they're not there anymore, but throughout the course of this, so it gets shipped off to Mount Hope, and then it finally comes over here. I find out I don't need to sign off for it, so I'm like, okay, sweet. We're both here at the time when it comes through, both me and Starberry. And I opened the thing up, and I mean, I wasn't super psyched because I as much as I like getting paid, sometimes I don't like the work that I need to do in order to get paid. I mean, I'm sure everybody has those kinds of days. So I'm opening this thing up and I'm like, alright, let's get this done. I need to get this computer set up. I need to get moving so I can, start getting paid so I can provide for the house. You know what I mean? Provide for my family. And I open it up and the computer's there and everything's there but the fucking power cord, man. And these units are built in such a way that these power cords are proprietary. I can't just go to Joe Schmo's computer shop unless they have cords from that specific manufacturer or something like that. And I assure you, believe me, there's probably not many places in Windsor that have them. So I know they exist. I'm not scouring the city for them. It didn't have the fucking power cord. The one vital thing that a computer needs is power. So I set the thing up and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I start messaging my TL and I tell her, yeah, you know what? They dumb fucked up, essentially, in so many words. And, yeah. So they messed up large. And, that started the saga of waiting for this power cord, because then my work had to talk to my IT to send me the power cord that should have been with this box. It's been almost a week now for something that should have been overnighted. And most of it is because of the fact that there was import fees associated with this. And I guess they've been stopping it up at every point of, every I don't even know what it's called anymore. I know what a port of entry is, but that's not what I'm talking about. Basically every stop, every major stop on the way to getting here, it had to stop because we were waiting for import fees, which include, what's the word? A brokerage fee. Well, yeah, I suppose that's about as close as it gets. Basically, for it to clear customs for something like that, there's a brokerage fee or a customs fee that gets applied to it. It was nearly $70 for like a cord that doesn't cost more than $10-15. And until today, I kid you not, over the course of a week, those fees didn't get paid until today. So, hopefully, by tomorrow, 1:30, I'll be receiving a cord so I can turn that machine on upstairs so I can start working again. Now, I have no idea if this computer is operational, what it'll take in order to get it set up, what updates will need to be done to it, which I have no doubt in my mind that I'll need to do updates to it. If the last terminal I got from them is any indication. So we'll see. But as it stands right now, I probably won't actually be taking any calls tomorrow. Because there will be initial setup unless they've been up to date with their flashes. Or whatever it is that they call their like mini platform installs that they probably have in their IT division. I know there's a term for it, I just can't think of it. That I have to download all and install the software and so on and so forth. It's gonna be a fucking hassle, but I have no idea where this machine is at. It looks old. It looks a little beat up, and if I'm being completely honest, we'll see where it's at. Cross my fingers that it's not a complete shit show, but up until the point where the cord fiasco started, they've telling me that I'm going to be paid. So that part has been okay. Things aren't going to continue to be super rough as far as that situation is concerned, but we shall see. Because this is from an organization that also said that it was just gonna be a week, if that, and I'd be up and operational again. So it's really guesswork at this point. But yeah. So for this coming week, I'm not sure what the plan is as far as that schedule is concerned, because I was expecting to be working today. So I was thinking, okay, I'll get a better idea of how the working routine will affect me and affect things in here a little bit sooner before I get at it, hypothetically on Wednesday, which would be tomorrow. So we'll see. But the idea, again, be on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday schedule. Events not included. So let's say, for example, I another message from my TL. Okay. Anywho. So, yeah. I'm not sure how I'm going to work things out. I had a different idea of how things were going to go today. And that's going to affect how things are going to go tomorrow too, because if UPS is anything like they were today, they probably won't show up until exactly 1:30 tomorrow. Which means I probably won't get set up until about 2:30 if I get the cord, I get it up there, and it works like immediately. I probably won't get set up till about 2:30 tomorrow, which means I'd have about 2 hours to work, set up, and then work, which I don't know if they're going to really be so intent on doing. Alright, just a second, folks. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Just sorting through messages from my team lead, making sure things were okay, because I couldn't quite read from here what it was saying. Nothing important, but you never know until you actually get on top of it. Anyway, so, yeah. So yeah, I actually should get going soon because I have to pick up my baby from daycare. Out in the rain, or well, it looked like it did rain for a good long while. I think it is mostly stopped by the looks of things. Still looks crummy out there and wet, but if it stopped raining, then that's the biggest part. That's the most important part. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. Stay tuned. If you're interested in staying up to date on everything, please check out my Discord server. It is basically everywhere. But if you really, really want to know, type in the command !Discord on my Twitch chat at any time I'm live. The Discord chat bot, Nightbot, will give you a link. You can join through that. Everywhere else, I'm The Dreaming Flame on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, the whole nine. So please do not hesitate to check it out. I do believe I have Discord links on there as well. So, I'm going to try, as part of all of this, to stay more on top of social media. That's something I've fell out of and tried to focus on. Tried to focus on Discord a little bit more. But I think I've got Discord on lock and in a place where until I start getting some income from this, that we're in a safe place. Because I have a few things that I can improve, but they require monthly subscriptions, and I don't really have money for that right now, so hopefully I can get on top of that. Same thing for all of this. The presentation of the stream right now can improve, but right now it's in a nice, safe place until we start seeing some donations coming through. Um, if you are interested in doing any of that, please, you can find me on Ko-fi. Um, Again, the Dreaming Flame on there. I do have a Patreon as well, though I'm not really advertising that as much these days. You can boost my Discord server if you're so inclined. And even if you can't do those things, you can always like and subscribe on YouTube. You can follow me and subscribe to me here on Twitch. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you have a free sub. So if you have that floating around, please feel free to toss it my way. I really appreciate it. And then, as well as that, what else is there? There is, you can follow me on Facebook, you can follow me on Twitter, the whole nine. There's other ways to show support as well. Because while you might not be able to directly influence or support any of this monetarily, we might be able to reach somebody who can. So let's get those notices out there, and maybe we can get to a better place here where I don't look like I've been recorded with a high def potato, for example. So, anyways, I gotta get going because it'll probably take me about 10 minutes to get ready. And yeah, have a good day, guys, and I will see you again. I guess tomorrow night, by the looks of things, unless I decide to do Final Fantasy stuff tonight. We'll see. Have a good one, guys.